everybody, coming to you from Melbourne, where we've just heard that our lockdown has been extended. What a joy. And what timing, because tonight at 11 minutes past 9 Melbourne time, there is a global event happening which will be 11:11 Greenwich Mean Time or Universal Time. And people all over the planet will be gathering in a mass meditation to collectively focus our energies on what they're calling Fire the Grid. And I will be posting links so you can find out more about it. But first of all, I want to speak about why it's poignant to be gathering now. First of all, we're coming up to the full moon in Aquarius this Saturday for those of us on the progressive sign of the date line, otherwise Friday. But Aquarius is the sign of the future. So, right now, there is a lot of saturating the group mind with a time track of artificial intelligence. And this is a man-made timeline. It is literally from the mind, from the lower mind, governed by the solar plexus, which is where we get the term 3D. It's the third dimension of perception or reality. So for those of you that are familiar with the energy centers or the chakras, you will know that the first dimension is where we experience the physical reality of life in the base or root chakra, and that's located at the perineum, at the base of our spine. The next energy level is the sacral, the emotional center, and then the next one up is the solar plexus. So what we're being shown and have been shown for a very, very long time is a constant trajectory of our collective future that is dystopian. And if you don't agree, go have a look on Netflix. You literally can't find a sci-fi that has a positive future for humanity. Yeah, they're all, projections of the absolute worst that could happen to humanity. And this is, of course, not our true timeline. The true timeline, the organic timeline, is one of divine intelligence. So not artificial intelligence, not an artifice, but truth. And the natural timeline is the one that Gaia, our Earth Mother, is on. And so our lesson that we have to master is to become one with her, okay? And I was given a vision many years ago when I was training women, and I was taking them on in my mind's eye to the cave to be initiated by Lilith, the serpentine goddess of Kundalini, the wild woman archetype that governs the base. And she said, "Come with me." And she, while my voice is taking them, where they're needing to go, she took me and showed me, she said, "When you are one with the earth," and she showed me an aerial view of a drawing. Some of you might have seen the horse in England that's, I can't remember the actual name of it, but you can only see it. It's so big from an aerial view. Well, this was like a stick drawing of a woman whose body was so big you'd have to be in an aeroplane to see it in the red centre, in the deserts of Australia. And she said, when you are one with the earth, he will come, as in the green man, and together you will ride the rainbow serpent around the earth and open the lotuses of light in the energy grid. Still waiting for that, but anyway. Anywho, I digress. So I had a very strong call to go to the red centre for the Great Conjunction, which happened summer solstice last year, and copped a lot of flack for that, but always have to follow a call. You can't ever ignore an inner call because it's like a dial-up from the universe. And I ended up doing a ceremony on the land at the time of the conjunction, and it was hugely powerful. I was basically begging forgiveness for all of humanity, for everything that, you know, has been done to the mother. And it was very, very emotional, very powerful. I just about chanted myself hoarse. But I felt an at-oneness. And more than ever at the moment, especially with the imposed isolation, there has never been a stronger call back home, okay? Now, home for many of us is not actually Earth, you know. For me, it feels very much like the Pleiades, but, you know, you'll know where your essence is most at home. But many of us have responded to the call that Gaia put out through all space and time to be here at this time, to rebirth ourselves as a collective species, as a humanity with the earth into the higher frequencies. And we haven't had the opportunity to do that for a very, very long time, okay? Things, literally, there was a lid put on our consciousness. So we were caught in this samsara reincarnation of, you know, always coming back here and getting hooked into the same sort of karma drama. So we have this amazing opportunity to literally liberate ourselves from the constructs of space and time, i.e. that keep us in 3D reality, that keep us only perceiving reality as physical, emotional, and rational. And many have already awakened the Rainbow Bridge, which is, you know, the Shekinah, the Tree of Life, known by many names, but it's the chakra system. And when those are fully open, those lotuses of light, also referred to as the eyes of God, we open our multi-dimensional soul. Okay, so we're not ego dominant, we're not limited by the beliefs of the rational mind. Instead, we are experiencing reality not just with our physical senses, taste, touch, smell, hearing and sight, but with our subtle senses, our inner hearing, our inner knowing, our inner sensing, our precognition, and our oversoul, if you will, or our higher self is guiding us moment to moment through synchronicity, through this preparation for this quantum paradigm shift. So our challenge at the moment is to awaken our multi-dimensional perceptions and to be the rainbow warriors, because this is not time to be engaging in conflict in the lower chakras, because in the lower chakras, as soon as you engage with that, you make the war, you make the conflict even bigger, yeah? So there is a galactic war happening at the moment. It's playing out on the inner planes. It's why many people are feeling extremely insular, like they just want to be, you know, wrapped up in a cocoon. I mean, it's especially so for those of us in the southern hemisphere in midwinter, particularly those closer to the South Pole. But this is a time when we are preparing, like a babe in the uterus, gestating, preparing for rebirth. And so this is a time when we're really doing the inner work, okay? And we're working hard, because the closer we get to this shift, everything that is not in alignment with our true organic future is coming up to show itself. So I've spoken in my previous video about how we're being tested in terms of, you know, who's on our wavelength, who's on our vibe, because Aquarius is, you know, the symbol of energy moving. And so it's all about our frequency. So if we engage, you know, just with a lot of anger, we'll stay in those lower vibrations. And it's not saying we have to repress our anger, because that's, you know, spiritual bypassing. Yeah, la 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 la, everything's all love and light, when clearly it's not. So, you know, that is not authentic, and that is not embodying the full spectrum of light, okay? But we do have to do the work of feeling everything, the way a woman in labor feels everything intensely in the present tense. It's like being, you know, the sacred sword Excalibur in the crucible of fire. It is through that intensity that that we become malleable, yeah, that we melt, we become amorphous, and we metamorphosize, just like you know, you would have heard me say before about the caterpillar that literally dissolves into a liquid form before finding its wings. So a lot of people are dissolving emotionally, or experiencing every repressed emotion, again, like a woman in labor. It's like it's all got to come out. So it's a very cathartic time. It's a very shamanic time, and a time to not avoid, to not do avoidance. Those that are, you know, just doing distraction will miss this stargate, will miss this opportunity for ascension, for a quantum leap in our evolution. And it's really important that we attune to nature. I mean, the mother has been calling us home for some time, and many have listened, you know, many have unplugged from the system, so to speak, and that process is still ongoing, and many are being I suppose, put into a situation where they're having to choose whether they're going to be more aligned with the machine, the man-created artificial timeline of the future, or whether they choose to align more with the organic timeline of Gaia. So this event that's happening tonight, I am not facilitating it, organising it. I don't even know the organisers, but somebody sent me a messenger post about it, and it immediately said yes to me. It's called Fire the Grid. It's not the first time that it's happened, but essentially it's a call to our whole human family to focus our energies at the same time, knowing that when we've done this in the past, the Schumann's resonance, the Earth Mother's heartbeat, has shown huge spikes, just as events like 9/11 create huge spikes. So we're coming together, we're focusing our energy to literally fire up the magnetic grid of the Earth with loving intention, with excitement and joy and celebration for our true organic timeline, which is a quantum leap into a multi-dimensional Earth, where we are liberated from the system, from the corrupt hierarchical tyrannical structures that have been a soul cage for us for so long. So to be part of this event, the organisers say, hey, you can just do something that gives you joy, play with your dog, you know, rough play with your kids. But if you want to be more focused in your intention, they suggest focusing on the hexagon that is your particular piece of the puzzle, your light body. For me, I see it very much as the diamond, or the dodecahedron, the what do you call it? Merkaba, the six-pointed star, but as a multi-dimensional sacred geometry. And fill that with light. And for me, that always starts with sending my roots down into the heart of the Earth Mother, from the base of my spine, from my root chakra, and then opening up the 7 gates, the 7 chakras, which are the 7 colors of the rainbow, to activate the rainbow bridge. Open the lotus in the crown at the top of the head, and send those energetic branches all the way up into the heart of the Divine Father, into Alcyone, the great central sun, which is the brightest star at the center of the Pleiades, the star system known as the Seven Sisters. Now, it's interesting to note that Alcyone was said to be the point where everything came together to create the Big Bang, and that there was 144,000 degrees or dimensions between us here in the physical plane on Earth and the heart of the Divine Father. And so we're all making our way home on Jacob's ladder, you know, and but just like the secret space program has technologies to go through wormholes, stargates, you know, so that, you know, we don't have to journey physically to get somewhere. We can go through portals, so to speak. That is possible for us in our evolution as a species as well. So the more we attune to the heart of the Father, to Alcyone, the more we align with the path of going home, so to speak, to the place of all souls gathering together in love and in light. But it's very important that we ground first. So sending our energetic roots down into the mother, because she's going through, okay, coming ready or not. So the more that we're aligned with her, okay, so the more time that we can get off our screens and be in the natural world. And if you can't do that for any reason, to in your mind's eye be with Gaia. But sending those roots down is very, very important, so that we are unified and balanced between spirit and matter, heaven and earth, feminine, masculine. Because the key to, you know, going through the eye of the needle, which is the heart, into the upper dimensions, is balance. Okay, so just anchoring that Merkaba, that Sri Yantra symbol, which if you tone Om, that immediately creates that sacred symbol in your energy field. So even while you're cooking, just be chanting some Om or Om Namah Shivaya, you know, as a sonic massage and a way of raising your personal frequency, or when you're driving around, those of us not in lockdown. So, and, you know, yeah, just really honor the divine design that is our template, okay, that is our body temple, that there can be no improvement on the divine design. And it is hubris, it is arrogance, it is of the mind to think that we can compete with and outdo divinity in order to prove how clever we are. This is hubris, the downfall of every hero and every empire that tries to prove power is greater than love. And we saw that with Rome, and of course we haven't learnt the lessons because our civilization is built on the same values, the same foundations. But we are coming to that point where we are certainly aligning with either the ego or the soul. And so, yeah, this is a time for us to spiral up or spiral down. And it's important that we attune to our hearts, what feels good, what sits right in our heart, what elevates and uplifts us. If something feels fear-based, if something feels like it's intimidating or controlling, this is coming from the mind, this is a distortion, this is not truth. Whereas when we align with truth, it's, it's simple and elegant. A child can understand it. It's like the unfurling of a seed into a plant. It's beautiful. So it's not one of strain and stress. So too, we are being called to do what is simple, okay? And I really want to emphasize that ascension is not about getting off the earth planet and never coming back. That's, kind of like a teenager leaving home going, oh, I'm done with this. It's more about us awakening and becoming conduits to anchor heaven on earth, and to know that ultimately, so long as we are in our hearts, we will always be where we're meant to be, whether that's a physical geography or a location, or whether that's energetically wherever we need to be. That trying to prep from a mindset of 3D is a road to hell, as much as trying to create the perfect future with AI is also a head trip and, progress at any cost. And like the old saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. What we're being asked to do at this time is to do what comes naturally, to spend time with people that reflect our light, the people that really get us, the people that celebrate us and affirm our truth, and to not try and hold tightly onto those that don't. Love them, bless them, rather than create a karma drama. Honor the need for endings, on the understanding that this then helps us to create new beginnings, new possibilities. But Aquarius is very much about people power. And so things are intensifying, and as I'm recording this, the moon is in Scorpio, so you might feel pretty intense, particularly emotionally today. There may be catalysts that bring up that intensity. But know that this is all divinely orchestrated, okay? Even the things that don't seem part of the divine plan are. It's like the grain of sand that creates the pearl, okay? So bless everything that's happening, even if it looks like a curse, even if it looks absolutely terrifying to the small self. Keep trusting and honoring the divine mind that is all pervasive and benevolent and moving through every experience, because it's all a test to see if you can stay in your heart and keep the faith regardless of what's happening in samsara, okay, in the lower external hologram. That so long as we keep focusing on what it is that we as creative divine beings choose to create, despite the fear, the false evidence appearing real, so long as we keep focusing together on what it is we choose to create, particularly if we can do that at new moon, at full moon, and at the solstices, the equinoxes, and the cross-quarter festivals. These are the pivotal times, those 3-day doorways, when we have the opportunity to really elevate the collective. And of course, those joining this global meditation tonight is another opportunity, and I see that this website that's hosting them has global meditations happening all the time. So if you do feel meh, okay, if you've spiraled down, if you've plugged into the matrix of fear and into the dystopian AI trajectory of the future, know that you can transcend it through sacred practice. You can spiral yourself up to a higher frequency, to one of devotional love, to one of joy, and know that no matter what happens, so long as you keep that as your compass, you will experience a divine intervention and a rebirth that has been prophesied down through the ages, not just in scripture, but by all the indigenous peoples. So keep courage, keep your heart, and know that we are close, which is why we're seeing resistance. It's why we're seeing the darkness before the dawn. And that we bless this challenge because it's resistance that makes us stronger, that prepares us. So yeah, if you're interested in activating your inner rainbow bridge, I've got courses for women starting September and a course for men starting in October. So I can put links in after I finish this video, and you can go register your interest, and then we'll let you know when registration's open for those. But in the meantime, keep the faith. Remember who you are. You have chosen to be here at this time as a divine being having a human experience, and you have responded to a call to be part of the great awakening of humanity, going through a quantum shift and becoming a new version of Homo sapien, which is to embody the divine in perhaps a less physical form, a lighter form. So yeah, but that does mean doing the inner work of transmuting the shadow. And that means looking at the shadow, acknowledging the shadow in our own personal journey and in what we're seeing in the world. Not spiritual bypassing, acknowledging it and feeling all the feelings that it brings up, and questioning so that we're, transcending the conditioned beliefs of what we were born into in 3D. And it is through that process that we will come to know a new reality in the not too distant future. So I hope that this gives you some courage, some strength of heart, and feel free to share the video, and I'll put the links up for the meditation that's happening later on today or tonight, whenever you're hearing this. So yeah, do share the link to the meditation, because the more people that gather with that positive intent, the stronger the healing will be on the grid of the earth, which will then be enjoyed by the human family. So thanks for watching, everyone. Ciao for now.